Blame it on Lagana, blame it on Carter. Hate this fucking show, write it much more smarter. Blame it on the Russo, blame it on the Russo. Oh, stop. And the bad thing is, Russo isn't even writing this shit that I'm going to talk about. So everyone has been going a bit nuts lately, again. And when has the internet ever not gone nuts? Let me turn that fucking fan off. When has the internet never gone nuts about what they dislike? So I've barely watched as much wrestling as I would like to, and I've been hearing a lot of things. Hold on a minute. I've been hearing a lot of things about Daniel Bryan and Kane, because I've been revising for exams, had a lot of other stuff going on. So I actually watched this Daniel Bryan and Kane stuff because I need to see before I can actually make a judgment. I'm not one of those people that can't watch. I have to see something before I say it. So, unlike those people who haven't seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2, shit on it. They haven't seen it to actually shit on it. But that's a tale for another time. So, Bryan and Kane, everyone's talking about this feud, and not for good reasons. People hate this feud. People despise this feud. People hated it the minute it was signed up or on as a feud on television. People are like, ugh, God, get it off. But I know that there were some people that like doing the wait and see approach. Let's see what happens. Fair enough, fair play to them. Okay, now it has happened, and this is my thoughts after watching and catching up. My God, I could close my eyes and I can almost go back to 2004, and it's just giving me shades of Guerrero's run on SmackDown in 2004 when Lesnar was gone and Kurt Angle was gone, and it was Guerrero and JBL. And then you also had Benoit at one point when he was getting very stagnant as the world champion in the Kane, of all people. And it just conjures up those emotions. And it's like the worst year that I ever want to think about. And watching this, it's just like, what are you doing? This is one of the most bizarre feuds I have ever seen. And no disrespect to Kane, who, he's been around the game for a long, long time. But the whole setup of it confuses me. Because you think about it like this, I swear I just saw Kane get destroyed at WrestleMania by the Shield in that 6-man tag. I'm pretty sure he got destroyed. And then the next week, he's the number one contender. Well, 2 weeks later, he's the number one contender. And now he's this threat again to Daniel Bryan. And hold on a second, I swear he was corporate Kane, and he was signing checks and doing admin work and looking like Kelsey Kramer and the Juice. And now he's back to being this monster. The demon is back, by the way. The demon is back. And now we're supposed to be scared of him. And I'm like, hold on a second. He went from being funny Kane to scary Kane to babyface Kane to Kelsey Kramer Kane to scary Kane to horror movie Halloween H2O, I wish I were Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger Kane. And it just looks so ridiculous. And no disrespect to him, because he's doing what he can with the role. But when you have Daniel Bryan in this is clearly not the kind of thing you need him in. This could be a program for someone else. But for Daniel Bryan, and it's a world champion main event program, it's just like, oh, this is horrible. And this is kind of exposing what you can't put Daniel Bryan in. Because these are not the kind of storylines he's in. Listen, most wrestlers are not actors. We should all know that, but there is some acting involved. Most wrestlers can just do the promo if it's organic to them, and then they can get on. Bryan is one of those guys. He's got charisma. He can talk. Just let him be more, if you want to say, straight-laced, serious programs. What he had going with Hunter was probably a lot more organic and a lot more real than what he has going on with Kane. And when you watch that, that's when you get the I'm watching fake pro wrestling thought again. And I'm watching it, and I want to laugh. I want to laugh at, like, everyone involved. And I think there's some people in this that believe that they're doing like some serious job that can get them like an Emmy Award, like Stephanie McMahon with the way she carries on in it. And what was the segment I laughed at? I fucking pissed myself with laughter the other day. Oh, yeah. When Kane was cutting up from the ring and trying to pull the Bella woman into the ring, and she's like, and it was so awful. It was so awful. I'll tell you what. I've seen better acting from 5-year-olds at a Christmas nativity play than Brie Bella, who is, 30-something years old. I have seen better acting from nativity play kids with 2 lines there's no space in this in. I've seen better acting from those lot than I have from there. And it's not their fault. They are not actors. This is not the kind of role you want to put them in. And it is just embarrassing to watch. And people, want to point the finger of blame at this person and that person. I know that there's some fans blaming Dave Bautista, of all people, that this is all his fault. And granted, he is the one that did not want to do the rematch with Bryan, but that's not out of disrespect to Bryan. It's more that they made lots of promises, the company, to Dave Bautista, allegedly. And they've botched up so much stuff that there's been some casualties. Bryan was a casualty of bad booking. Bautista has been a casualty of confusing booking and a very confusing audience reaction. Then again, most of us here had the foresight to know that this was not going to work. Most people wanted a heel Dave Bautista, not a babyface Dave Bautista that they forced on us. And things have gone all over the place, and now he's in Evolution and he's doing a feud with the Shield, and that hasn't been bad to watch at all. But it's just like, well, what do you expect? And people who think Batista has a problem putting over Daniel Bryan, remember, he was the one that took the loss and did the tap out clean and let him have his moment, as opposed to other people who haven't. So he actually let him do that, and that was a very good and honourable thing that he did, professionally speaking. And it's not his fault that, booking and the way things have gone have, pissed him off and he doesn't want to do certain things anymore. That's not necessarily his fault. You have to blame it on the people with the pen and the man that makes the decision. And now we go back into this Bryan feud. The other thing that it shows me is also that there aren't many opponents for him. It's like, I reckon most people think we're going to see Brock Lesnar and him during the summer, and I would love to see that. That would be very unique to watch. That would be a great program, and it looks like it may have been hinted in Heyman's WrestleMania, post-WrestleMania promo, that might be the case. But it doesn't look like there's anything planned in the middle to at least get that weight behind him. And they just, fine, we'll just throw in a storyline with Kane and we'll just rehash some bad horror movie and rejected ideas that we got for our WWE films and put them on screen as angles. It reminds me of the Zack Ryder stuff almost, and that is just like, oh God, I don't want to think about that. And it just tells me that there wasn't really much planning after that. You've got to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And you're watching this thing and it's just like this rushed together program that just is baffling, confusing, and you almost feel like, yeah, again, I'm watching this fake pro wrestling. And I thought they were going to do him and Hunter actually at Extreme Rules, and then they went with Kane. And now they want to do this program, for another pay-per-view. I just want to see the end of it. Listen, I don't ask for much, but God, please, no more of this feud. I mean, it is just, it is not very good to watch. And, again, this is when you kind of, like the Paul Heyman theory about, hiding the weaknesses, emphasizing the strengths, and certain people can pull off certain angles, and Bryan isn't one of those characters. Bray Wyatt probably is, Kane probably is. And unfortunately they did do a program with him, but they're two characters that you could believably do a program like that with. Daniel Bryan, who is not of that kind of mold, you're forcing it, and I think it's almost done by design. And again, I can imagine this is going to start off all kinds of speculation as to, the Bryan run and, how they're fucking him again, and who knows. And from what I understand, apparently now he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. And if he's going to get the Dolph Ziggler treatment circa 2013 when Dolph got injured during his world title run. And as soon as he came back, it was just like, guess what? Done. Finished. And I really hope that doesn't happen with him. So I'm going to stop. I'm sorry I haven't been back in a while. I promise I'm going to be doing more videos. I'll tell you what. I'm on Twitter. It's at BuffBeenStuffed. I'll say it again. At BuffBeenStuffed. If you've got Twitter, please follow me. Ask me anything you want. If you've got requests for videos, please send them through. And I will happily answer them or do a request video if you want. And again, at BuffBeenStuffed, I will put it down in the description box. If you haven't seen me before, I'm BuffBeenStuffed. Hello, by the way. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will be back later. Take care, and blame it on the Russo.